მოგესალმებით betsson.sport-ის YouTube არხზე. ჩემი სახელი არის დუდი, მე ვარ MMA ჟურნალისტი და ბლოგი Loves The Gloves ავტორი და დღეს თქვენთვის განსაკუთრებული სურპრიზი გვაქვს. ჩავწერეთ ინტერვიუ ძალიან საინტერესო სტუმართან. ამ ინტერვიუზე საკმაოდ დიდი ხანია ვმუშაობდით და როგორც იქნა შედგა. დღევანდელი ჩვენი სტუმარი არის Ariel Helwani, ცნობილი MMA ჟურნალისტი და პლატფორმა uncrowned.com დამაარსებელი.
Hello.
There he is, the man behind your go-to combat sports platform, uncrowned.com. The host, the executive producer of the Ariel Helwani show, the pride of Canada, and my own personal white whale when it comes to not just MMA, but I would say combat sports, interviews in general, Ariel Helwani. Hi, Ariel, or how we say it in Georgian, gamarjoba. How are you?
It's a great honor to be here. Thank you very much. I know we've been trying for a very long time, and you're so busy that I couldn't get on your schedule. So I'm happy that you
yes,
made some time for me.
Finally, I had a spare minute. No, of course. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you. No worries about it at all. Your past couple of weeks, and I would say past couple of months, have been so crazy. I mean, it's amazing to, first of all, it's inspiring. I already told you this, but it's super inspiring to just see you achieve all these amazing things and be a part of such awesome events, just like this past weekend, and even the International Fight Week coverage was absolutely outstanding. You and the entire crew really did hit it out of the ballpark. Yeah.
Thank you.
And and even again, as I said, the Netflix show last week was just chef's kiss.
I appreciate it. Thank you. You're very supportive and very nice, and I say it sincerely. It really does mean a lot. So thank you very much. And you're doing great work as well. And I love the good people of Georgia. Everyone who I've met from Georgia is so kind and nice. And so I'm really grateful for your support and grateful for the invitation.
Well, we love you, and for a good reason, I would say. First of all, I do believe that you deliver very fair coverage of our athletes. And can I just say that there's one thing that I've noticed about the way that you conduct your interviews or just your coverage. You always make sure to kind of underline, the nationality, the little things, the very special things. I will never forget when you had before the Abu Dhabi card, before the Holloway fight, you had Ilia on your channel. I've been watching your show for God knows how long. It's a bit weird for me because I feel like I know you really well, and you're obviously seeing me for the first time. And it was just so surreal, Ariel, to just kind of tune into your show, see Ilia on this screen, and you wishing him happy Svetic Chovlo. It was outstanding. It was outstanding. So thank you always for that.
I try my best to make everyone comfortable and to honor their heritage and their country, their past. I think I completely butchered the name of the holiday. I'm not even going to try to say it, but this isn't the first time. Well. This isn't the first time that I see you, because I have seen you obviously online, your interviews, your channel as well. So this isn't the first time. So I feel like I know you as well.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm about to turn the color of, I don't know, this this light behind me. We're a very small country, obviously, so we're very supportive of our athletes. Especially with Merab, I feel like everyone kind of understands what's happening, that he's Georgian, he's from here, and then he got the American citizenship. But with Ilia, I just feel like the point kind of gets lost in, with a lot of MMA fans, despite the fact that he's been a champion for such a long time, Sometimes it's a little bit frustrating because I see a lot of, still to this day, I see a lot of confusion within the fan base. They're like, well, is he Spanish? Is he Georgian? Is he German? So yeah, whenever big platforms like you highlight it in the correct way, it means a lot.
I understand what you're saying regarding Ilia. I think whenever he can, I think most people now sort of affiliate him with Spain just because he lives there. But I personally think whenever he can, he always shows love to Georgia and to his roots there, to his family there. And I love the relationship between him and Merab, his brother and Merab. Guram as well. Like it's really nice to see how maybe they didn't know each other 10 years ago, but now they're all supporting each other, which I think is incredible. And it's amazing to me that there are zero American champions, male champions in the UFC, and there are two male Georgian champions. That's incredible for such a small country.
It is amazing, really. It is. I think Ilia is very proud of his heritage, Georgian. You can always see the flags and stuff. It's not surprising, I would say, that he's a champion with the support system that he has. I mean, he has two countries behind him. I mean, come on. How many people can say that?
I love it. It's great to see. I love those stories. It's so great when someone emerges from a country, like Connor with Ireland, GSP with Canada, when these countries that maybe didn't have a person at the top, the Brazilian fighters as well, and then you see the local support. It's always, it's just always amazing. So what a great story this has been. And if you're a fan of theirs, the amazing thing is I don't see it ending anytime soon. Like it feels like these guys could be at the top if all goes their way for quite a few years here. There is a path, which is pretty remarkable as well. So yeah, what a time for Georgian sport. And you also have number 77. I know I'm going to screw up his name. Formerly of Napoli, now of PSG. There it is. So yes, it's a great time. It's a great time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to get you to say his last name.
No.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
I know Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
You have all your Georgian bases covered.
That's right.
I will kind of uncover a small secret that our audience today doesn't really know. It's that we tried, obviously, to get you here, to get you to Georgia in April, I think. Yeah, we tried to make you one of the guest speakers at our Betsson Sports Forum. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. But as a result, we have this interview today. And maybe next year, we can actually get you to come to the country and we can show you all around, and you, of course, and Rick and GC, and bring PT as well. he'll love it.
Would we get the same type of reception, like when we come out of the plane and the people and on the horses? We'll get the same type of thing?
I'll make sure. I'll make sure you do. I'll personally contact the guy with the horse.
Amazing.
The only thing that I'm not willing to recreate is the guy jumping on the bus.
Yeah,
the Spider-Man guy. Yeah, let's not do that.
That would be great.
But anyways, I've been watching your show long enough to know Ariel Helwani's #1 rule of interviews, and that means having no pre-prepared questions. So today, no pre-prepared questions, except one, and that would be the one that I wanted to ask you at the forum, if you were to attend, just because the entire theme of the event was crossroads. Some people say that MMA today, whether it's the sport as a whole, or maybe UFC, or maybe even just the MMA media or whatnot, some people would say that MMA is at the crossroads. Do you agree with that statement?
I think it's at some kind of crossroad for sure. Whether it's like the big definitive one, I'm not quite sure yet. But I always tend to believe that rather than say, okay, this is like the definitive crossroad, combat sports, and MMA is under that umbrella, of course, is very cyclical. So there are times where it's on fire. For example, in your particular country, it's on fire right now. It maybe wasn't the case back in 2015. And certainly here in America, it doesn't feel like it's as popular as it was in 2015, 16, 17, when McGregor was doing his thing, when John Jones was more active, etc. And so I feel like it kind of goes up and down. You take, for example, the boxing heavyweight division. There was a time 15 years ago where it was awful. No one cared about it. It was very boring. And now you look at it and it's on fire. It's more popular and more interesting than ever. And so that's combat sports. And so I think that there are ebbs and flows. I think that things go up and down. What's so interesting about this particular period is the UFC as an entity has never been more profitable. They're about to sign a massive TV deal here in the United States. Maybe they continue with ESPN. Maybe they have it cut up in a few pieces. Maybe part of it goes to Netflix, which would be huge. Maybe part of it goes to Amazon, which would be big as well. The gates are big, but I don't feel the same type of buzz from the audience. I don't feel like there is as big of an appetite the kind of stars that are generating the type of interest that we had a few years ago. And that's a weird thing. Like, how could they be making so much money yet there's not that interest? So, you know, the three letters are very popular, and they're perhaps more popular than ever across the world. But in this particular country where I live, yeah, it does feel like if this was a peaks and valley type of thing, we're kind of, you know, in a valley right now. But I don't think that lasts forever, and I don't think that any particular decision today is going to impact the sport. It's all about who comes along, who's the face, who's the star. And, you know, slowly but surely, we're starting to see some new faces emerge. But as I've said on the show, I feel like UFC, from a business standpoint, is doing just fine, and I think will always be popular and somewhat mainstream. I think MMA as a sport is not doing fine. Here in America, there's only one other major promotion, PFL, and I don't think they're having a great run. There's obviously pockets in the world with KSW in Poland or Octagon in Germany where it's doing well, but I don't feel like the sport is as hot as it was 10 or so years ago. And so that's a problem. Again, to reiterate, I do think that's cyclical, though, so I think that it will come back up at some point.
Well, we're looking forward to that, you know, another high peak, yeah. And you mentioned the Georgian fighters. We mentioned that, you know, they're kind of on the rise, and yeah, MMA has never been bigger than it is now in Georgia, and thanks to them. And but I just wanted to ask you, because I feel like you do have quite a relationship with them. You've been interviewing them for well before they became like even title contenders, right? So just if we can talk about both of them, when they first kind of popped up on your radar, and kind of what are your maybe first memories or best memories or most favorite memories with each one of them?
Oh man, there's so many. I'll start with Merab. So the first person to really tell me about Merab was Ally Quinta, his very good friend and
Raging
teammate.
Al.
Yeah, the man, Long Island's best real estate agent.
Yes.
And, you know, I've known those guys for a very long time. Ray Longo, Matt Serra, Chris Weidman, Aljamain Sterling, even before all of that, Pete Sell. Like, obviously, they're in the New York area. They're very kind, and I've been lucky enough to cover them for a very long time. And Al would always tell me, you got to get Merab on. You got to talk to Merab. Best guy, best teammate, incredible fighter, going to be a champion. And this is like long before, like maybe I mean, I remember when he had the looking for a fight spinning back fist knockout, and they were telling me about him then. And there's also, you know, back then I was only doing one show a week. There was only so much time that I had to devote to the interviews. And so like slowly but surely he would come on, and I would always love to have him on. And some people might forget now, there was a period where he like had won, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row, and he wasn't getting a title shot, and I felt like he should be getting a title shot. And so I was, you know, shedding a light on that. And then in 2022, we had a live show in New York. I talk about this sometime right before the MSG card in November of that year. And he came on. I couldn't believe it. He showed up 3 hours early. And this is Merab showing up. And I'm like, oh man, thank you so much for coming. You know, you're just a little bit early. Oh, no problem. I'll just sit over there. He just sits at the bar. He wasn't drinking. He was just like having like a water or a seltzer on his phone, hanging out. And I was just blown away by how down to earth he was. Because at that point, he was like on the cusp of greatness. And let me tell you, and you know as well, like he has not changed one bit. We had him in our Vegas studio after, you know, the International Fight Week. Comes with one person, no problem. Thank you for having me. Just a sweetheart, honestly. Like Merab is a sweetheart. Such a loving guy, such a warm person. I really enjoy talking to him and watching him, and I enjoy seeing his success, and I enjoy seeing the reception that he's getting back home. So it's a beautiful thing. With Ilia, one of his managers, Abraham Kawa, I remember texting me saying like, this guy. Now I will be honest. He said, I have a guy from Spain. I remember that because I remember thinking Spain is like not a place that is producing anyone of note. You're going to want to talk to this guy. This guy is the future. And I was like, yeah. You know, so many managers say that all the time. Like, this guy is the future. This guy is the future champion. He's the man. He's going to be the face. Yeah. But I actually remember being on a flight and him texting me a picture with him being like, this is the next guy. And I was like, all right, let's see. And then, of course, like, you know, over time, he's getting the wins, and there's the the hand sanitizer thing and all that stuff. And I feel like a major turning point for him. And I know it was like a little bit later on, but it's like, okay, once the Josh Emmett fight happened, everyone was like, okay, I believe in this guy. Like you weren't quite sure. I'm not saying I wasn't quite sure, but I feel like the audience, like he got a main event slot and it was just a complete dominant performance. People were like, okay, this guy's the truth. And then of course, shortly thereafter, he gets the title fight. I remember also with him, I think it was after Volk versus, maybe it was Volk versus Yair, one of those fights, as he was trying to get in there. And I remember him, it was the interview where he landed and he was in the car with his wife. And you know, that clip gets passed around of her saying, you know,
It's not gonna be my guy.
If one needs to die, it's not gonna be my guy.
Oh my gosh, I like this. This is a little trash talking here. This is nice.
It's not going to be my guy. And I remember he had just landed that day and he did the interview and I was like, this guy's great. And I always say to myself, I hope these guys don't change. I hope these guys don't change. I hope they're still, you know, accessible. Some of them do change over time, but for the most part, I mean, actually not even for the most part, both guys have not changed. I will say Ilia's a little harder to get to these days, a little harder, as you probably know. But I totally understand. And look, before the last fight, he was on the show. He was kind enough to come on, and he was on before the Max fight as well. So he always gives me time, and I cannot ask for any more. He's a superstar. And you know what I loved about that interview is like the way he was sitting. Like he was just like, you know, like just a guy
so
just
cute.
chilling. Yes. Just the guy like, what do you want to talk about? And that's why I said to him when he said about the prediction, like it sounds like we're talking about going to get a coffee. Like you're so calm about it. What a pleasure it is to he has that thing that I feel like he could be that guy, and he's well on his way to being that flag bearer for the UFC. So yeah, I genuinely enjoy both guys, and I'm genuinely happy for their success.
Yeah, when you mentioned him sitting like that, yeah, it was just so nonchalant, and that kind of reminded me of. I hate making this comparison because everybody does it, but like in this particular moment, I just feel like it's warranted. You remember one of the first interviews that you did with Connor, when I think it was the very first one, when he popped up on the screen like eating blueberries or some stuff.
Yeah.
What are you eating, by the way? Peanuts?
Blueberries.
Blueberries.
Fucking delicious.
Yeah, it's like such an epic moment, and it just kind of like I connected these two together.
There are a lot of similarities, whether people like it or not, and it's not the similarities like that we usually make with Connor with the trash talk. It's just the confidence, you know. It's the confidence. Like I've already seen when Ilia walks out there with a smile on his face, it feels to me like he's already. I can't wait for you guys to see this fight. I've already seen the fight. It's already happened. You know, like when you want to show your friend something great, like I can't wait. I can't wait to watch this movie with you. That's the look that he has on his face, and I can't imagine having that type of confidence. It's a mesmerizing thing to watch. So yeah, that and so like when you do have that kind of confidence, like these interviews, you don't have to be stiff or worried or, you know, choose your words wisely so that you don't piss people off. Like he just does his thing, and yeah, I hope we get to watch him do his thing for a long time.
100%. He's just being himself, and I feel like now that his English is vastly improving and very rapidly, I would say, I feel like now the audience is able to connect with him better. I think the sky is the limit for this guy. I mean, his podcast with Joe Rogan like did millions and millions of views in just a matter of hours. We were just like watching the ticker like going to the freaking stratosphere. It was outstanding.
No, 100%.
What do you think is like the next step for him? How big can he get?
Oh, I think he's just scratched the surface. I mean, like he just won this new belt. He had one title defense. Like he could go on a run here. And I really hope they could figure out a big stadium show for him. That would be amazing. I would love. And I know that for pay-per-views, they don't like to go over there. But man, I wish they would drop some of that. You know, because like when there's a big fight in boxing in the UK, like it's not in the middle of the night. Like they need to stop doing that sort of thing. But I hope he gets that. I think a fight against Paddy would be gigantic. I think a fight against Armin would be huge as well. Armin has a huge fan base. So there are big fights. And honestly, like if Jack Della wins, I wouldn't be surprised if Islam comes back down. and that would obviously be gigantic. So there's, and throw Gaethje in that mix as well. Like there's legit like 3-4 fights on the horizon. It's different than like a Tom Aspinall, who I think the world of as well, but doesn't really have that big fight unless John comes back next year. If he does, like he's missing something. Ilia's moved to 55. If that truly is the best weight class for him, the 55-pound division has bigger names. Bigger attractions. So this could be very, very lucrative for him.
I do agree. Yeah, I do agree with that, because I feel like in order for somebody to really become this huge star, they do need like a rival, really. Conor had that with Nate, right? You just need that a little bit something. And Paddy is a perfect example of that. Maybe he's not quite there in terms of the rankings, but I mean, we kind of know that the rankings lately have not really been playing the most important part necessarily. Obviously, most of the local MMA fan base, they're super intrigued about the Islam fight. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been skeptical. I've been asked about this fight for like years, probably. The talks about it began when Ilia won the featherweight title, and I don't know why. I've always just been skeptical about it. I just, for some reason, just don't see the UFC making it. But like, am I missing something? Talk me off the ledge here.
No, I mean, look, they had it. It was like literally right there.
Right,
it was literally right there. I think they would make it. I think they just wanted to, I think Islam wanted to move up and get that belt.
I get that.
I think they could have done that fight in June, and then he could have moved up. I don't see why they couldn't have done both, to be honest. Because if this fight is likely going to happen, I think in New York at Madison Square Garden. That's in November. That's in 4 months from now, and it would have been almost 5 months from the fight. So he could have fought Ilia, and then he could have come back to fight. Like there's no roadblock, there's no Ramadan, there's no nothing. So I don't know why they didn't just do that, but. I guess he didn't want to have to fight another 45er coming up. He did it against Volk twice, so I get that. But it's just such a big fight. But I think the Jack Della fight's going to be very, very hard for him. Jack is a big guy. He's very talented. I'm really curious to see how it goes, and I like Jack's chances in it. Who knows what ultimately happens? And then if he wins, the big question is, does he move down? There's Ilia right there. I mean. Could be International Fight Week next year where they're fighting.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's amazing because, we got that a little bit with him and Volk when number 1 and number 2 pound for pound got to face off, and if that happens again, that would be amazing. I do agree with about the JDM, because JDM is no pushover. Definitely, that guy is super talented, and let's not forget that he has Craig Jones in his corner. So, who knows what that guy's cooking up, right? I would love it if we did get that fight again. I'm pessimistic, but it's actually the fight that I would love to see. Probably one of those that I would like to see the most. I know that Ilia wants it. Do you think they would let him go for the 3rd title?
I think that one they'll give him a hard time with, unless he's not the champion at 55. I really don't think they like when people hold up multiple weight classes, because they need those belts to be defended for their pay-per-views. But unless for whatever reason, like he just drops it, then maybe. But man, I'm curious to see how he does against some other 155ers, because I thought he looked much smaller than Charles. Obviously there was, no issues whatsoever. I thought that was a pretty easy fight to predict, to be honest. I didn't think it was a good matchup for Charles, but some of these other lightweights who are a little bit bigger. I mean, Paddy's pretty big too, so I'm curious to see how he looks there. But yeah, 170 feels like a big jump, and they weren't too keen on Conor trying to do it, and I think they've learned a lot of lessons with Conor. So I personally would be surprised if they let him do it, if he's still the 55 champ. If he's not, then maybe it's a little bit different.
Oh, we'll see how that plays out. And who knows, maybe if that broadcasting deal is different and they are not as reliant on title fights on top of pay-per-views, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, no, and especially,
fingers crossed.
Also, if it's a Netflix deal and, they don't have to have always, everything could be different this time next year, to be honest. So maybe sort of like a WWE deal where there's just, the pay-per-views, but they're part of the subscription, not extra. That's how it is here in America. That could definitely be possible. Or maybe they just do 6 pay-per-views and the rest, and then there's like who knows? I suspect we'll find out in the next couple months.
What would you think, what would you say is the likeliest outcome? Like, again, I don't know if you know something or if the knows, you know, or if just some of your speculations, what do you see as the likeliest scenario?
For the broadcast deal?
Yeah, like right now, what is it? So July 17th.
Yeah,
what would be your prognosis?
I think that I think that they'll stick with ESPN in some way, shape, or form, but I think they want to have multiple homes, and I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix is a part of it. You know, TKO, the parent company, they have the WWE deal with Netflix. It seems to be going very well. They've got Crawford, Canelo on there. That's obviously a big deal. So, you know, I know that the UFC would love it, and that's the place to be right now. So if it's not them, then maybe there's an Amazon component. I would just, the one thing I think that would be a surprise to me is if they're not with ESPN at all. The question is it 100% ESPN? Is it 50-50? Is it 75-25? That's what I think. I'm curious if it'll be more than 2. I think they would like for it to be at least 2 different partners, because that's the way everything is now. NBA has multiple partners, NFL has multiple partners, every sport, NHL here, baseball, soccer, etc. So I think they would like it to be multiple partners. I just feel very confident in that ESPN will be at least one of them.
Okay, well, let's see how that plays out. And yeah, in a year from now, I guess another big topic that we might be discussing, I mean, the discussions have already begun really about the White House card. 2016, they were not able to, you know, hold a pay-per-view event in New York, and now we are talking about the White House. It's mind-blowing, and I do understand that obviously it's way too early to talk about like any potential people who might be fighting on this card, but what do you think is like something that people probably need to keep their expectations, you know, in check when it comes to that event, because there will probably be some security, you know, considerations and stuff. Maybe it won't be as open to the public or something.
So I don't think it's going to be just one where like you could buy tickets and go. I think it will be a little bit more like the Times Square boxing event, where it's just open to select people who don't need to buy a ticket to attend. There was a crowd there, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't open to the public necessarily. I think that they'll try to have more than I think there was just like 150 or 200 people at the Times Square. I think they'll have more than that, but I don't think like any regular person could just buy a ticket to this. I think it will be somewhat exclusive in that regard, but it sounds like it's going to be a pay-per-view. And so the big question is, are they going to put all their biggest names on there? Is it going to be International Fight Week?
International Fight Week, yeah.
Yeah, because that'll be a week before. Are they just going to get rid of the Vegas stuff, or are they going to do back-to-back shows, or are they going to do a pay-per-view International Fight Week, and this will be a Netflix special? I could see that being a thing as well, rather than asking people, you know, because Netflix wants big events, unique events, etc. But a lot of people initially, I think, didn't believe it, and I believed it, and I still believe it. They're going to try to do this, and I think they're going to be, you know, they're going to be successful in doing so if they really want to go ahead with it. Like Dana's best buds with the president. It's once that's a thing, like now it's just about executing it. It's not like, oh, we're going to pitch them on this idea.
Yeah, no.
And clearly Donald Trump wants to do it. So I think it will happen. I think they're trying to make it happen. But I think like any speculation as to who might headline it is a little too premature.
Way too early, yeah. I know. But even if we just put the White House event kind of, let's put it here. And if you could make one fight, what would you, realistically speaking, obviously, like today or maybe next year, what would be the dream fight that you would like to see?
At that event or just in general?
Just in general, wherever. Okay, let's do it like this: the place, the time, and who's headlining.
I think probably like 3 of the biggest fights that you can make are, okay, please don't hate me for saying this, I would love to see Ilia Islam at the Bernabeu.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think that would be incredible. I would love to see Jones Aspinall at Wembley Stadium. That would be amazing. And let's do Connor versus Chandler at Croke Park in Ireland.
Whoa.
That would be amazing.
The very expensive venue.
The most expensive in the world.
Connor can afford it. They can afford Connor.
Absolutely. But let me see if I'm missing out on any. I mean, I'm excited for Merab versus Corey. I'm really excited about that one.
That's a fantastic fight.
I'm excited about Pantoja versus Joshua Van. I think that's a really fun fight as well. The featherweight division is a little funky right now. I think they should just do Movsar versus Volkanovski, to be honest. And then we could just kind of all move on from that. DDP versus Khamzat is probably the fight of the summer in terms of like the intrigue surrounding it. I can't wait for that. I'm excited to see if Pereira could come back. Like there's still, despite what I was saying before, there's still a lot of exciting things. Kayla versus Amanda is incredible. Valentina versus Zhang Weili is incredible. There's still a lot to be excited about. Part of the issue is there's so much MMA, there's so many UFC events that it all kind of gets a little bit watered down. Yeah. But truly, if you're looking for the good stuff, there is a lot of good stuff.
For sure. It's like whatever, breaks through that white noise, of events and stuff. You just mentioned Amanda and Kayla with the Valentina and Weili. For me, like, I would love to put these two fights on the same card with main and co-main event. Oh my gosh, that's like this just the shot in the arm that I feel like the women's MMA needs, because that is my own personal, like, I don't know, pain, whatever you want to call it, that it's kind of like right now I feel like it's in the slop a little bit. But
yeah, but again, that's cyclical too. Look at women's boxing. You could say maybe it's enjoying like a renaissance, but there was a time not that long ago where people said it was boring, or that there weren't any stars or interesting fights. You just need to have people that want to invest in it and to showcase it. And I still feel strongly about women's MMA. I still love the women's game. And first of all, from like an interviewing standpoint, there's some of the greatest interviews. There's such unique, heartfelt, real people. I love talking to them, and their stories are a little bit different. They've been through different things. They have different perspectives and stuff like that. But yeah, right now, given the state of things, Amanda, Kayla, Zhang Weili, Valentina is like just what the doctor ordered for them. And if they could figure that out, like, I don't know, the December pay-per-view in Vegas or something, like that would be phenomenal in my opinion.
Yeah. Amazing. Even I'm okay with January as well. That fresh new year, fresh start. Let's do it. 2026, here we come.
They got to figure out both of those, and I think they will. The question is, do they put them on the same card? But yeah, I love that idea.
As long as we have them, like, I'm not going to be complaining. I promise. Yeah. Anyways, I will try not to take much more of your time, because again, you've been already so gracious with it. I don't want to like overstate my welcome or something.
No problem.
But one more thing that I would like to ask you actually is, I mean, there's a million more things that I would like to ask you, but what was the vision with The Uncrowned? It was very important for you to not just have this digital platform with the YouTube channel, and you guys are killing it, and like, I mean, as we speak, I believe the boys in the back are steering the ship, right? So shout out to them. Good luck with their show. But apart from this digital content, it was very important for you to also have the website, right, with all the writings and the long read pieces. How come? Why so?
Because I feel like there's an incredible amount of stories to tell and great people to be able to tell them. And I don't feel like they were getting the proper opportunity to do it. They were all either being underutilized or didn't have a home, didn't have a platform, or working for companies that were compromised, that were biased or whatever, and they couldn't really tell the stories the way in which they wanted to. And I still believe very strongly in the written word, in telling great stories. It's very easy when I was looking for a new home, if I was just like, oh, I just want to worry about myself, I just want to worry about my show. But I'm very proud of the fact that, we were able to create around 20 to 25 new jobs. I don't know the exact number, whether it was on my show, on the production side, the other shows, and then of course, all the written stuff, social media, and all of that. The YouTube and the .com has been huge, and Shaheen Al-Shadi is the editor-in-chief, and he's been able to blend it all together. And to me, it's like, why does it have to be just an MMA site? When I go to ESPN.com, there's baseball, football, basketball, and I'll sort of navigate whichever way I want to. And so here, this is to me the best home for combat sports. Are we covering like every sort of minute fight announcement, this, that? No, but it's the big stuff, it's the good stuff. And I think it's the important stuff. And I'm very proud of the quality, like my friends Chuck Mindenhall and Ben Folks. Like, these guys have been doing it for so long, and I've known them for so long, and they're such great writers. And I felt like they just needed a home for that. And we found some other ones in the other sports. And so I wanted it to be an all-encompassing empire, so to speak, and not just my show, little thing here. I wanted to have much more of a legacy. And I'm very proud of the name as well, because I have always felt like, maybe I or the sport or the coverage or the show don't get the respect that we deserve. And so I've always liked the term like uncrowned champion. I've always felt like that's like the people's champion, you know what I mean? Like my guy Joseph Parker, who's getting screwed in the world of boxing, like he's the uncrowned champ in my opinion. And I feel like there's like pride in that, because it keeps you hungry, even though you're sort of at the top, it keeps you going. I'm very, very, very proud, very thankful, and I hope it continues for many, many years, because I'm having a blast.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. And yeah, sometimes you have to embrace that perpetual underdog mission. Yes, absolutely. So I know some people don't view me as such, but trust me, I am that. And I don't know if I'll ever get rid of that. I don't know if I'll ever change that mentality. Maybe it's the immigrant mentality, as they say, because I come from two immigrants. My parents, who I love very much. Today's actually my dad's birthday, so it's a very special day. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know, or maybe it's just all the stuff that I've had to deal with. But all of this makes you stronger and better and hungrier. So I'm grateful for all of it.
But I mean, you've been in this business for how many years? Like, if you don't have that, I feel like that's something that you need to keep that fire burning, I feel like.
For sure.
Of course you do that, love does that. When you love something and when you're very passionate about stuff, sure, that will keep you going. But also, people chirping somewhere also get the job done. Yeah.
I think some people think like, oh, you're the MMA guy. You can't possibly know about anything else. And that's silly. And I could talk about, my interest and my history and all that stuff. But I would say to them, like, do you want to be just one thing? Do you want to limit yourself in your personal life, in your career? Do you want to grow? Do you want to evolve? The goal from the very beginning, I mean, the first website that I ever started, you could see it. It's called jerrypark.com. It's still up. It specifically says all combat sports. It just so happened over time, I was like, all right, there's something here. Let me focus on it. I love it. It was in a really interesting period, MMA, but the goal was never to just be an MMA guy. That's why I couldn't wait to get rid of the MMA Hour name, because I felt like I had evolved and the show had evolved as well. So yeah, and by the way, I don't want to just be the combat sports guy as well. That's why last year when I got to do the Olympics for my country, the CBC in Canada, that was a huge deal for me. That when I got to do NBA for ESPN, that was a huge deal. And I don't want to just do sports. Like, my goal, my dream, and I don't know if I'll get there, is I want to be known as the best interviewer, period. And that's my goal. And I think everyone should have a goal. Everyone should have a dream. Just give me interesting people. And I want to talk to interesting people. And I like the challenge of trying to introduce perhaps my audience who doesn't know about these people to a new person, so that they could say, you know what, that guy's awesome, or that girl is awesome. And now I want to follow them, even though I may not know as much about them or their sport. I like that challenge. So I will admit it drives me a little bit nuts sometimes when I hear people say like, oh, you should just be talking about X, Y, and Z. No way, man. I'm not. You only get one life, and I'm not going to limit myself to just one thing. You know how Dana White always likes to say like, oh, if there's a fight on that corner, we're all going to watch it. To me, I'm drawn to good conversations. I love interviews. When it comes to MMA, I love when there's like a new kid on the block, like a Peyton Talbot, and then you get to know this guy, or a Joshua Van, and you're like, wow, what a beautiful, or a Malcolm Wellmaker.
I was about to say the Georgian Machine, the second Georgian Machine.
This guy's amazing. He's amazing. How could you not be excited about this? So, but I know like on paper, people are like, who's Malcolm Wellmaker? But you just trust that I try to have the best guest possible on the show.
100%. You're killing it with that, because some of the interviews that you do are absolutely outstanding. And I can probably speak for a lot of other people and when I say that I would not be half of the MMA fan that I am of some of these guys if it wasn't for these interviews. Like, I love Dustin Poirier, but I do believe that half of the reason why I love him so much is the conversations that I was, privileged to hear that he had with you. Even when you had Max in your studio, I think it was one of the interviews, like that interview is one of my favorite ones, just because of just how open they are. And sometimes it's not even about fighting, right? Sometimes it's just about them as people and what they have to say. And those are outstanding moments, really.
Those are my favorite. I don't, like, as you know, I try not to, harp too much on the X's and O's, so to speak. Like, I really try to focus on who they are as people. And yeah, those are my favorite. Dustin has become one of my favorite characters just because at times he is so vulnerable and he is so open and honest and authentic. Again, like I ultimately, all of the fights at this point kind of blend together. I used to be very good about, okay, who headlined UFC 198 and what was on the prelims and all this stuff. And that was a different time. But now it's like the personalities, the characters, they're such special human beings, really. We're so lucky, and that's what I try to do on the show. I try to show a different side of them. I try to get people to know a different side of them, so that hopefully, in turn, that's another reason for you to watch. Because if everyone in this day and age, as you know, like everyone kind of looks the same, they're all dressed the same. It's kind of hard to stick out. Yeah, the uniform. There used to be a way to stick out based on what you wore or the song you came out to, etc. And so I feel a responsibility to try to show the world who these people are and to get to learn more about them. And then you'll be like, oh man, that guy or that girl was fascinating. I want to watch them. I want to support them. That's how I view it. Some people think my intentions are different, but that is the truth. I just want to talk to good people. I just want to, show people a different side of these athletes. If you would have asked me July 17th, 2005, what do you want to do? Mm-hmm. Like 20 years ago, I would have said exactly this, talking to fighters, talking about combat sports. Like this is my passion. This is what I love more than anything. And I feel blessed that here I am, as a 43-year-old, amazingly getting to do it.
Living the dream, man. You really are. What's the next dream? Whether it's for the uncrowned, for Ariel Helwani?
That is a great question. Well, first of all, the dream is always to be as healthy as possible and for my family to be healthy. That is most important. I don't want to take that for granted. The second dream after that is for there to be peace on earth and no more fighting and no more wars. And then from a professional standpoint, obviously I want to keep growing Uncrowned. I want to make it into the best site possible. I want the show to keep growing. I want the other shows and us to all keep growing and to be able to be the best that we can be. And then the opportunity to do other stuff is a huge motivation for me. So like I'll be covering the Winter Olympics in Milan for the CBC.
Whoa, nice.
And that's a big opportunity. I was very, very, very proud of the fact that I got that chance in Paris and that I was able to. I knew nothing about most of these people and most of these sports. I don't know about fencing or gymnastics or, oh, God knows, like all these things, equestrian, like I knew nothing about them, but I was proud of the fact that I was able to immerse myself in it and complete the job. So, getting more opportunities like that. I got to work on a show called Real Sports on HBO, unfortunately got canceled, and I got to do a couple of really fun stories, one about bird watching, which was great, and like just getting to do those off the beat, fun, different things where people view me as more than just a combat sports journalist / host / interviewer / personality is constantly on my mind and constantly a motivation.
Awesome. That's a great plan, and congrats on the Olympics game gig. That's amazing. And also, please keep that window in somewhere mid-April open for us. We'll try.
yes.
We'll try again. We'll try again.
I will do my best. Thank you so much.
I cannot thank you enough for doing this, for this interview. It has been an amazing chat. Honestly, a dream come true, a small dream come true. And yeah, I really do hope that we get to do this again, maybe next time, maybe even in person or the time afterwards. I don't know. Let's hope that you have some more time to dedicate to us in the future. And again, whatever you and the guys at the Uncrowned do, it's absolutely amazing. Congratulations on all the success, and I wish you many more successes in the future.
Thank you, and same to you. Much respect to you for working hard, for being relentless as well. I appreciate that. And keep up the great work. Keep up all the great coverage, and keep going. Don't stop. It's a great thing to see someone, from your country doing such great work. And I wish you nothing but the best, and it was great to be on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ariel.
You're a great interviewer as well. So I'm a harsh critic when it comes to interviews, and you do a great job. So keep it up.
I learned from the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ariel. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye. მადლობა რომ ვიყავით ჩვენთან. იმედია საუბარი მოგეწონათ. როგორც ყოველთვის, დალაიქეთ ვიდეო, გამოიწერეთ არხი და პირდებით რომ მომავალში ბევრ საინტერესო კონტენტს შემოგთავაზებთ.